morning and welcome back to Pitt to the Point. I'm Grace Lamberto.
And I'm Michelle Spiller. Join us for our final show as anchors. Pitt to the Point is our Emmy Award-nominated weekly news and magazine show broadcasted live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios.
Get ready to dive into everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the heart of the city and beyond, covering national and international events, noteworthy individuals, and compelling stories.
We're thrilled to bring back your favorite segments and introduce fresh features, including live reports that shine a spotlight on thriving activities happening across our diverse University of Pittsburgh campuses.
Keep an eye out for our newest segment, Crossing Over at Pitt, showcasing the groundbreaking collaborations between different departments and schools, setting new standards for innovative teaching across the nation.
We connect live with our affiliate high schools, offering a glimpse into their vibrant communities and initiatives. And of course, we'll continue to keep you informed about the latest developments in politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment. From Pitt to the Point. The fourth Tuesday of April is creeping up on us. In a presidential year, that means primary elections. In Pennsylvania, you will only be able to vote for candidates in the same party you have named your voter registration.
The polls will open at 7 a.m. on the morning of April 23rd and will close at 8 p.m. the same day. If you're planning to vote via mail-in ballot, they will be due the same day at the same time.
With election season approaching, former President Donald Trump is having a very busy month. His hush money trial began this past week.
The trial began this past Monday, and Trump is facing 34 counts of felony charges. The first day of the trial, the former president argued that he, quote, is a victim of the criminal justice system weaponized against him.
The trial is expected to last anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, and we will be awaiting the final verdict for upwards of 2 months. If convicted, Trump will face a maximum of 4 years behind bars.
With all this chaos surrounding the upcoming presidential elections, President Joe Biden visited us here in Pittsburgh this past week on his re-election tour. With more, we go to political reporter Kayla Pattison. Kayla?
Thank you, Grace. President Joe Biden visited Pittsburgh this past Wednesday. He took a trip to United Steelworks to implore all the unionized workers that their company is not going anywhere. In the midst of a possible merger, he focused that he will keep the heart of the Steel City intact. President Joe Biden has taken a campaign tour of Pennsylvania this week with 3 stops starting in his birthtown of Scranton, then here in Pittsburgh on Wednesday, and ending in Philadelphia yesterday on Thursday. Biden visited United Steelworks in downtown Pittsburgh to promise he would not allow the purchase of the company to a Japanese merger, and U.S. Steel would remain an American company. Biden also noted that he would nearly triple the tariffs on steel sent to China, this comment made to rival with Donald Trump's past promises during his presidency to compete for votes in the purple state yet again.
The avoids a tariff. Just yesterday, I had a delegation down in Mexico meeting with AMLO, the Mexican president, to address this issue. Mexico and the United States are going to work together to solve it, I promise you. I promise you. My administration also taking a real hard look at the Chinese government's industrial practices when it comes to global shipbuilding, which is critical to our economy. We depend on a fleet of commercial shipping vessels to carry American products around the world. Shipbuilding is critical to our national security, including the strength of the United States Navy. That's why my administration takes it very seriously that U.S. steelworkers, along with 4 other unions, have asked us to investigate whether the Chinese government is using anti-competitive practice to artificially lower prices in the shipbuilding industry. We've heard you. If the Chinese government is doing that, the unfair taxes undermine free and fair trade competition in the shipping industry, I will take action. That investigation is going on. Taken together, these are strategic and targeted actions that are going to protect American workers and ensure fair competition. Meanwhile, my predecessor and the Magnum Republicans want across-the-board tariffs on all imports from all countries that could badly hurt American consumers.
Biden made it known when acknowledging the heart U.S. Steel has and brings to the city of Pittsburgh, America, and its union workers. We will see the results of Biden's Pennsylvania campaign tour as the Pennsylvania primary is next Tuesday. This will act as an indicator if he was their accomplished greatness. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes, it is crucial for any presidential candidate to win this purple state. For Pitt to the Point political reporter, Kayla Pattison.
Michelle, Grace. Thanks, Kayla. Pittsburgh locals were excited to hear that the past week was an exciting week in Pittsburgh. The popular sandwich shop Permane Bros won Coolest Thing Made in Pennsylvania for the second year in a row. The voting came down to the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and the famous Permane sandwich.
There really is nothing better than a sandwich with French fries on it. And if you're typically not a fan of coleslaw, give those a chance because I'm not and I love it.
Pittsburgh has been a really busy city recently. This Saturday at 11 a.m., the Duck Derby will be making its way to the Allegheny Commons Park on the north side.
Yeah, Michelle, the Duck Derby is an event that takes around 10,000 ducks and has them race their way to the finish line. You can adopt a duck yourself and watch it race this Saturday, April 11th on duckrace.com/Pittsburgh. All proceeds benefit Partners for Quality nonprofit agencies. First through fifth place ducks will win cash and gift card prizes. You don't want to miss it.
Here in Pittsburgh, we see a lot of biking to and from classes and work. With some of that, there's some hazards. With more, we turn to our city beat reporter, Claire Donnellen. Claire?
Thank you, Michelle and Grace. Good morning. With this warm weather rolling into Pittsburgh, everyone is out and about and enjoying it, especially through biking. With that in mind, the city has seen quite a few vehicle and cyclist collisions as well as accidents. So it is very important to review the rules and regulations involved with biking to ensure your safety.
Safety is a must. Things like wearing a helmet. I mean, it's obvious, but you got to wear a helmet. Got to protect your cranium. Follow the rules of the road, like any other motor vehicle. Don't be a distracted rider. Stay focused on the road and what's going on around you.
For safe city cycling, though, I would suggest staying very close to not the yellow line, but the side of the road. I would also suggest signaling, using bike lights, and wearing a helmet because helmets save lives. I'm in emergency medicine. I work in EMS, and there have been countless times where I've seen the profound impact of helmets. You only have one brain.
I would say I've been in a bunch of unsafe situations, and a lot of times it's cars just kind of riding up on you, not giving you enough space. But I have seen people get into accidents, and a lot of it's really unavoidable so long as you're taking it slow, you're following traffic and things like that. Because a person against the car is never a very fair match.
Bike infrastructure could be bettered and could be safer for riders around. On very busy roads, they're really advocating for adding a barrier in between you and the lane of cars so you're not as exposed to traffic, because even though there are the painted lines to show bike lanes, you're not very protected. Cars can definitely swerve into the bike lane. Cars park onto the bike lanes, and so really having some protection.
I bike to work, and when I bike to work, I'm coming from Shadyside to downtown, and I can literally get to downtown without being on any major road surfaces on the way there. So, for me, being able to utilize some of the bike trails helps keep me safe. I certainly don't want to be driving down roads like Center Avenue or Fifth Avenue because there's so much bus and car traffic. So there are a lot of options out there to kind of stay away from the traffic, whether it's through dedicated bike lanes or through trails.
As Pittsburgh embraces cycling through the bike lanes and trails, it is very important to review these tips so that it ensures everyone has a safe and fun ride. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Claire Donnellen. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks, Claire. On April 16th, Iran launched drones into Israel immediately following the attack on it. The United States, Israel, the United Kingdom, France, and Jordan all shot down the majority of the planes in the Iranian drones.
This retaliatory attack occurred as a response to Israel bombing the Iranian embassy in Syria, which the Israelis claim to Iranian military installation. As of this morning, Israel has carried out a strike inside Iran. The region is bracing for further escalation.
The Pitt News keeps us informed on what's going on here at the University of Pittsburgh. This week, we take a look at the student housing rights, 2024 grads, and a new food truck on campus.
Pittsburgh's Assembly for Fair and Equitable Housing meets once a year for Fair Housing Month. This year it was held at the Frick Fine Arts Building, and there were many organizations there to help improve low-income renters in Pittsburgh. These organizations can help people form councils and petitions to lower rent rates around Pittsburgh to make housing more affordable. In addition to the assembly, there were breakout rooms that went more in depth. With seniors graduating soon, it is a great time to look back on high school graduations. Most of the seniors who are graduating in 2024 didn't have a high school graduation because of the restrictions due to COVID-19. So with this upcoming ceremony, students hope that this one will be better. Some students are excited for graduation, but some are also nervous to take that next step in life. But either way, congratulations to the 2024 seniors. Pitt has added another food option for students, and it's been a hit. The Silver Trailer, located between Hillman Library and Lawrence Hall, is a new breakfast place that has options like French toast sticks, bacon, veggie bowls, pancakes, and drinks, and much more. This campus location takes meal swaps and dining dollars, and it's open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will also remain open during the summer for students to grab a quick bite.
When we come back, one of our very own Panthers won an ACC Title of the Year. You'll want to hear this.
And our city sports reporter will be sitting down live with a Pittsburgh journalist to discuss the upcoming NFL draft. Don't go anywhere.
Time for your next adventure. No idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
Welcome back. Looking to dive deeper into a story that caught your interest today? Then look no further than our website. Visit pitstothepoint.com for clips from today's show and in-depth articles covering the topics that pique your interest. And stay connected with us on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all under the handle Pitt to the Point.
Follow us for behind-the-scenes footage, updates, and more from our talented crew. Don't miss out and join the conversation online. You can stay informed with Pitt to the Point.
After an outstanding performance at the ACC and NCAA diving championships, Pitt diver Cameron Cash has been named the ACC Diver of the Year.
Cash joins only one other Pitt diver in the program history being named ACC Diver of the Year. Along with him, head coach Katie Kasperzik earned ACC Men's Diving Coach of the Year accolades.
Cash is coming off his most successful season as a collegiate diver after earning NCAA All-American honors and finishing 4th overall on the 3-meter platform at the NCAA, as well as winning an ACC title.
Our Panthers geared up for an intense spring game this past weekend, and our Pitt to the Point sports crew got to attend. We turn to Aaron Clark for more. Aaron?
Thank you, Grace. Well, last Saturday, April 13th, the Pitt football team held their annual Blue and Gold spring football game at Acrisure Stadium. The Gold team came out on top by a final score of 17-10. Our very own Lily Peters and Donnie Blackwell were at the game reporting from the sidelines. They were able to speak with stars from Aaron Donald to Damar Hamlin. Take a look at this year's football team in review.
Hi, my name is Lily Peters. I'm here at Pitt's spring game. It's a little windy here in Acrisure, but we're still here giving you all the coverage. Hi, I'm here with MJ Devonshire, and we've obviously you've had a successful career at Pitt, and now you're probably going to be drafted to the NFL. So can you talk about how Pitt has prepared you to jump to this next chapter?
Coach Collins, he's done a great job preparing me, just being consistent in life and on the field, learning that being consistent in life and in school and whatever I'm doing will translate to just being consistent on the field. So just trying to be a good person on and off the field.
Aaron, you obviously played at Pitt. You had a very successful career at Pitt. How do you credit Pitt football to your success in the NFL? How does it prepare you for the NFL?
There's great coaches, obviously, that show me how to do it, how to study film, how to get myself prepared as a pro, and you're in a great city, great fans, and you just translate that to the field, and then all from there.
How does it feel being back at Acrisure for the spring game?
Yeah, it's nice to come back. It's my foundation. I got nothing but love for the blue and gold. And so you see guys like him, So, my family, my brother Glenn, DeMar.
How y'all doing? I'm DeMar Hamlin. I'm here with
Lily Peters.
Yes, and we're here at the Pitt Spring Game. It's not my first rodeo here, man. I'm pretty much here every year. You got to enjoy the weather. The weather's beautiful. How do you feel about today?
The wind. The wind is getting to me, but it's been flooding a lot, so it's been nice to have some sunshine.
Well, I play in Buffalo, so this wind right here, this don't stand a chance to what you got to deal with up the road. What do you think about the game so far?
I love it. I love watching it. I love football in general, so just having it in the spring is super fun.
Super fun.
Yeah,
we got some young players developing out here. A lot of good young guys.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see a few guys on defense.
Talk about spring game a little bit. What does it mean to you? Why do you like spring game?
Yeah, springtime's the best. It's my last one. Never won a spring game until today, so it's a good feeling to get under. It's just a great environment. Have some fans out here and support us. So yeah.
Could you just talk about the spring game a little bit? Why just a fun event for everyone to attend?
It's always great. You get to compete against your teammates, and then after the fact, you get to the fans come on the field. You get to meet fans, sign autographs, take some pictures. Just a fun, good little vibe to kick off this 2024 season.
What are you excited about for next season?
I'm excited for this new offense. I think we're going to be explosive. I think it's going to be awesome, and the defense is going to work their tails off to, keep us low points. So, yeah.
Can you just give Pitt fans a little sneak peek? What is next season going to look like for Pitt Panthers? It's going to be a lot different than last season?
Next season, all I'm going to say, just go look back at 2021. We're doing the same thing. It's going to be the best year y'all ever seen from me, and I promise you that. That's my promise.
Buffalo Bills safety DeMar Hamlin even shouted out former Pitt cornerback Louis Riddick, whose clothing line of Pitt apparel just released. Riddick played in the NFL for 6 years and is currently a NFL and college football commentator for ESPN. He is now returning to his roots by putting his own personal touch on Pitt merchandise.
They creatively came up with the idea of, maybe there's something that could benefit all of us with that. A vehicle by which you can help us, we can help you. It can kind of be a very good relationship.
Standout performances from the spring game include junior quarterback Nate Yarnell, who's the team's former third string, as well as senior tight end Gavin Bartholomew. The defense also put up impressive showings on both the blue and gold teams. We will continue to keep a close eye on the team throughout the summer as they look to put the pieces together for this upcoming season. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Erin Clark. Grace and Michelle.
Erin, former star defense lineman for Pitt football, Dayon Hayes, announced this week that he will be entering the transfer portal, and his exit was a messy one.
Yeah, Michelle, Hayes publicly stated when announcing his entrance into the portal that he does not believe the Panthers can win anymore. He has since apologized for his choice of words, saying, quote, "I do have a lot of faith in this team," and that, quote, "his time here has come to an end."
Hayes will be in demand for Power 4 programs around the country. This is a tough go for our Panthers defense, and Hayes was expected to lead the team's defense end in the fall.
Hayes will be visiting with the football programs at USC and Colorado soon, and with that, Coach Narduzzi will be looking for a player to fill his shoes on the D-line.
And it's not just Hayes who will be entering the transfer portal. Quarterback Christian Valou, lineman Solomon DeShields, and defenseman lineman Antonio Cameron are also seeking to play for another team come the fall 2024 season.
I have spent most of my time at Pitt working at Pitt Studios for the ACC network, and this year I've gotten the incredible opportunity to complete their year-long production internship.
I've also spent some time in Pitt Studios this past year, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities to work in a state-of-the-art facility at my own school.
I sat down with a couple of our Pitt Studios full-time employees who also happen to be Pitt alums, so they could share their insight on their incredible experience in sports broadcasting facilities. Good morning. So I am here in the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios with Pitt grad Jason Earl, Reagan Check. Hi, Reagan.
Hello.
So if you just want to start off by telling us what your position here is at ACC Network.
My position is the coordinator of broadcast and video production for Pitt Studios.
I am a director of broadcast and video production. My role is to oversee all of our ACC network broadcasts, produce a lot of them that are on the national network, sometimes announce various different roles in the control room I'll be a part of to make our shows a success.
What was your experience like in college? I know you transferred from Robert Morris, so how was it coming to Pitt?
It was honestly just so different. Both programs were just so drastically different. One of the main reasons that I transferred was that I saw that Pitt built these beautiful control rooms and the studio downstairs. It was just so eye-catching. I just was so in love with the opportunities here.
I know that this whole facility was built while you were still in school, so how did that kind of keep you at Pitt?
Yeah, it was really neat. I always tell people that I got in at the perfect time because when I came, I started my second year in school. We were in the old control room, and then the summer between my sophomore and junior years, I got to come in a couple times and see the development phases, and this was not what it is now. It was just a bunch of wooden planks and things like that, and eventually to see it turn into this was really, really cool. And knowing that the launch of the ACC network was coming and that as a student I would be able to play a role in broadcasts that are on national television or the ESPN app, I knew it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So that was huge, and I was grateful to be involved with that in my final couple years in school.
After graduating, I was given so many opportunities. One of the things that I have done for a while now, I will stage manage for a Steelers preseason game every single year. But it was an opportunity that I got as a student at Pitt, and there was lots of opportunities that I got like that with the Pirates and Penguins. I was just really grateful for that.
We know that students are an essential part of our productions. So broadcast courses that take place here at Pitt, we like to reach out to them, and we'll have the classes come up for tours of our facility, and a lot of the time we make sure that they know if they want to get involved, they can reach out to us. And so when they come up for tours and they see all of this, and if they're interested, they can let us know. We'll get them in to observe a show or work in some of our entry-level roles. Also WPTS Radio, another facility on campus, organization that does student radio. You'll get a lot of shared interest with them.
I truly am beyond grateful for all the opportunities Pitt Studios has provided me. So thank you so much to Jason Earl and Reagan Check, and also to Tristan Russell, Sarah Johnson, and Michael Masich for all of their guidance over the past year. And
the NFL draft is coming up on April 25th, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting ready to make some tough decisions with their picks. Our city sports reporter, Donnie Blackwell, is here with Pittsburgh sports journalist Chris Carter to discuss the upcoming draft. Donnie?
Thank you so much, Michelle. Like you said, the NFL draft is next week, and the Steelers have some still well-needed spots to fill. So to discuss how the Steelers should move in this week's drafts, I have Pittsburgh Post-Gazette beat reporter Chris Carter. So, Chris, what are some of the moves that the Steelers should focus on in this year's draft?
Well, one thing Mike Tomlin has talked a lot about is having a dominant offensive line that can push people around for the run game. That's what they want to do with Arthur Smith, the new offensive coordinator, and with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields as their potential quarterbacks for next season. So to fix the offensive line, the two primary positions to look at are offensive tackle and center. And when you look at those two spots, offensive tackle looks like maybe it's one of the deepest of this class, and there could be 6 different players who I would say are worth the 20th overall pick, which is the Steelers pick in the first round. Other top needs that I think could go in the first round are cornerback and wide receiver, but offensive line is of huge importance to the Steelers, and that's where I think that they will try to do their best to get someone in the first round.
Okay, so what offensive lineman do you think the Steelers should focus on?
One person that I think that the Steelers should look really hard at and have looked really hard at is Talisa Fuaga, offensive tackle out of Oregon State. Fuaga is about 6'5", which is not the ideal height for an offensive tackle. They usually want you to be 6'6" or a little bit taller. And because of that, he might fall down a little bit in this draft class. And if he does, to me, when I look on tape, he's the best pure run-blocking offensive tackle in this draft class. You can look at guys like Olu Fashanu out of Penn State, who are the better pass blockers. Joe Alt, who's definitely the best tackle of this class. But when you look at Fuaga, his ability to move people around at the line of scrimmage looks like a pure right tackle that will allow Steelers' current right tackle, Broderick Jones, to move to left tackle where he was originally supposed to be. If Fuaga's there at 20, Steelers will be doing backflips and running to the podium.
Okay, and we've been hearing a lot of rumors as far as in the free agency. We were mentioned that we were supposed to be getting like picks from Tyler Boyd to Justin Jefferson to Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers. Where do you think the Steelers will look as far as the receiver? Because now George Pickens is number 1, and I'm not personally sure if he is a wide receiver 1 quality just because he's super young right now. Do you think that they should stick as far as getting a veteran wide receiver, or having faith in George Pickens and just getting a receiver from the draft?
I do think that they should get a veteran wide receiver, but they shouldn't overpay for the position. One is that you only pay for the veteran big money for a big veteran wide receiver when they're a Justin Jefferson type quality, and the Vikings aren't giving him up. The only thing about Brandon Ayuk is that they're going to have to give up a pretty high draft pick to get him and pay him about $30 million. That's not ideal. In this current draft class, in the wide receiver position, even if you get an offensive lineman in the first round, you can get a potential future wide receiver 1 in the second, maybe even in the third round this year. I think George Pickens is eventually going to be a number 1 wide receiver. So getting a young wide receiver in this draft class could really work out for the Steelers long term. It's just being careful about where you get them when you have all these other needs.
Okay, and speaking of needs, how confident are you in the QB room? Are we still going to look for a third quarterback, or are we just going to stick with the 2 good guys that we have?
I think that there's a chance that they draft a third quarterback in this draft class, but it won't be a high pick, especially because I expect there to be anywhere from 4 to 5 quarterbacks selected before the Steelers' 20th pick even comes up in the first round. So with that, I think that if they take one, it might be a Jordan Travis out of Florida State. It might be a Joe Milton out of Tennessee, but those will come in the later rounds, and all those guys project to be as third-string quarterbacks with this current quarterback situation.
Yeah, I feel like this draft class for the league was pretty good compared to in other previous seasons.
Sure.
So what are some other picks that we should be looking for as Steelers fans in this year's draft?
As I said, center is also very important. They did not have good center production last year. Graham Barton out of Duke is my top center in this draft class right now. He's your first round pick at center if you really want a center in the first round. But some people say center is not a first round pick at 20th overall this year. So if you're looking at that, maybe Zach Frazier out of West Virginia in the second round, maybe Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia. But another position as well, look at cornerback. Cooper DeJean is a true versatile cornerback who can play safety, slot corner, and outside corner, and would be an awesome fit in Mike Tomlin's defense. So if you're looking at corner, tackle, center, those are the top 3 positions there. If you're looking at wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell out of Texas will be great in the first round, but I have my eye on Malachi Corley as a second or maybe even a third round pick that'd be a great position player with George Pickens for the long run.
Okay, and we're expecting cornerback Corey Trice to be coming back. How do you think that would play in the scheme of things as far as the Steelers drafting a corner?
So Corey Trice projects to be a potential really good starter for the Steelers that could work next to Joey Porter Jr. But the problem with Corey Trice is that he's been injured a lot in his college career, and he got injured last year. And he's a 7th round pick. The Steelers are hoping he works out, but they can't put all their eggs in that basket until they see that he does work out. So they're still going to try to draft a cornerback, I think, at least by the middle rounds in this draft class, and then see how that cornerback compares to Corey Trice, Darius Rush, who they got in the middle of the season last year, and the new cornerback, Dante Jackson, who they got from the Carolina Panthers.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. The draft is next week, April 25th through the 27th in Detroit, Michigan. And here in Pittsburgh, we will be having some of our very own Pitt to the Point colleagues be there in attendance to help the Steelers in the draft. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us. And we will be sending it back to Michelle and Grace.
Thanks so much, Donnie. And thank you, Chris, for joining us this morning. When we come back, we'll be joined by one of our affiliate high schools to learn about a touching cause in their community.
We'll also be taking a look at a club right here on campus where Pitt is centered around the wellness of elders. Stick with us.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. Imagine being here in the Commons Room or an Nationality Room.
What do you think?
So what do you think? Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. Proud member of the ACC.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in its grand historic
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna we running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
Welcome back. This week in Pittsburgh has been beautiful, nice and sunny weather and temperatures in the 70s. The lawns on campus were full of people. It's going to get a little chillier this weekend, but still much nicer than it has been the last few weekends.
Yeah, Grace, I'm glad to see we've gotten some sun after this week. And I'll rather the temperatures kind of be in the 70s and 60s rather than the 50s and the pouring rain and flooding.
Each week, we get a chance to one of our affiliate high schools about something going on in their communities. This week, we're talking with Montour High School's Bus Loop about their Alina's Light program. Hi, guys.
Good morning, Michelle and Grace. The Montour Spartans are proud to join this morning's broadcast at Pitt to the Point. Thank you for having us.
Montour High School is a community where students feel included, cared for, and loved. Our Hilltop campus is a safe space for students to not only excel in their academics, but a space to focus on many real-world, real-life topics that will affect students after they graduate.
With the help of Alina's Light, Montour students have the opportunity to talk about dating safety and domestic violence. This organization is very special to our Montour community.
Alina's Light is a charitable organization established in honor of Montour alumni Alina Shayket, whose life was tragically taken in a senseless act of violence in October of 2017.
The mission of Alina's Light is to honor Alina's legacy by raising awareness and promoting domestic violence education through outreach, scholarships, and donations.
Alina was the most kind and loving person. Beautiful, smart, intelligent. She loved people, and she had that ability to make every person she met feel special.
Passionate, talented, loving. These are just a few words to describe Alina Shayket. At only 20 years old, Alina's life was cut tragically short by an act of violence. Her parents have dedicated their lives to raise awareness about domestic violence through creation of a charitable organization called Alina's Light. Their advocacy efforts provide outreach, support, and hope to our local community and beyond.
Each year, the Alina's Light organization visits Alina's alma mater, Montour High School, to talk with students about teen dating safety and domestic violence. Additionally, Alina's Light hosts other events which include 5K runs and purple outs for sporting events, all in an effort to provide support, hope, and education while carrying on a legacy Alina would be proud of.
Furthermore, the Alina's Light organization has partnered with Pennsylvania State Representative Anita Kulik to promote House Bill 1747 named Alina's Law.
It is important that we continue to work to get Alina's Law passed. This bill will help strengthen domestic violence laws and provide further safeguards for victims.
No other family will ever have to go through what the Shayheds have.
Alina was a proud Montour graduate and also a student at the University of Pittsburgh. For more information on Alina's Light, visit alinaslight.com. From Montour's Hilltop campus, I'm Lily Hamler.
And I'm Brooke Border. Thank you for joining us this Friday morning. Michelle and Grace, back to you.
Thanks, guys. This really does seem like a special cause in your community. So, do you guys go beyond and get the community involved?
Each year, they host many different events, both in and outside of the Montour community. Some of these events include a breakfast with Santa, 5K run, and a Purple Out themed sporting events.
That's really great. So when was Alina's Light founded?
The Alina's Light organization awarded its first scholarship in honor of Alina in 2019.
How lovely. Do you guys plan on honoring Alina post your time at Montour?
The Alina's Light organization serves more than just Montour High School, and we plan to continue participating in all of the community events hosted by Alina's Light even after graduation.
Well, this is definitely a really special cause. Thank you guys so much for working with us this season, and we'll see you next season.
Thank you.
Each week, we take a look at a club here on campus. This week, we're checking out the Alder Care Club and how they assist the elderly.
Alder Care is a nonprofit organization where we volunteer at assisted living homes. We mainly just do it with Shenley Gardens, which is in North Oakland. We recently got funding from the school, so now we're able to do more fun events like we just did plant potting. Next week, we're going to decorate cookies. So it's just a fun way to get involved with the community. And also the residents are all really sweet. They're fun to hang out with. The activities we do are always a lot of fun.
This club honestly means a lot. I've been a part of this since freshman year. Now I'm a senior. I had lost all my grandparents, so I wanted a way to connect with senior citizens. So it was a really good way for me to still stay connected. Even during COVID, during freshman and sophomore year, we still did virtual volunteering, which was hard, but it was still a nice way to kind of stay connected with them and still feel like we were making a positive impact. I love playing bingo with them, and I love trying to get them to do stuff on their own to help with their fine motor coordination. I think it's a great way to keep their mind sharp, but it's also an activity they really love to do. I just hope that people realize that old people aren't scary and they're really cool to hang out with. You learn a lot from them, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the elderly that I think it's a great way to kind of just get your feet wet.
Each week, we take a look at how our university departments are working on teaching initiatives across the country. This week, we're learning about a PhD student in the School of Social Work and how they are addressing the dominance of whiteness in American society and its effect within families.
I am currently the principal investigator for the Parenting for Racial Equity Project. In that role, my research mentor is James Hughley, and in partnership with the Center on Race and Social Problems, Ron Adoko. Between the three of us, there was just kind of this vision. First, Dr. Hughley, one of his projects is called Parenting While Black. Being a white scholar and a white researcher, my role on the team was then to think, what will this look like in white families and also in multiracial families as well? I would say I was somewhat always interested in this work. My husband, my partner, is a Black man. I have a 1.5-year-old brown son. I'm pregnant with my second. I want them to be able to go to school and be around kids of any color, including white kids, who don't just turn a blind eye to racial diversity and differences, but celebrate those. That's what began my journey in pursuing a PhD and going back to school. That's where prep encompasses workshop model that is 6 weeks long that white parents participate in the hopes that they can gain practical skills and competencies to take to their kids to build an anti-racist generation in the future. It's truly designed by those and for those in Pittsburgh, which is something I'm really proud of.
When we come back, we'll be taking a trip to one of our regional campuses' theater programs.
That's right. Over in Bradford, they are performing an original piece. Don't go anywhere.
We are the University of Pittsburgh. forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in the grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna stop my family now. We running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
Welcome back. Our business and technology reporter, Isabella Romero, will be filling us in on a pair of strap-on mobility shoes made by a couple of Carnegie Mellon students. Bella?
Two Pittsburgh students invented strap-on mobility shoes designed to triple your walking speed. These AI-powered shoes adjust to any terrain and are designed to have a safe and fun walking experience. After 5 years of development, these innovative frog walkers are ready to change how we move.
Essentially, there are a lot of different features. First, the shoes both interact with each other. So while you're walking, they can kind of tell when you're trying to accelerate, decelerate, and they're really efficient at making sure you're walking safely and also walking really swiftly and in a fast manner that you'd want to go. In addition to that, Pittsburgh it has a bunch of bumpy roads and so forth. And so with it has essentially a ton of different wheels on the bottom, so it can easily go over kind of cracks and other kind of obstacles you might face on the sidewalk. And then lastly, I think one of the great things about the shoes is they are just what other features can I describe? I think the ability for them to interact with each other on a really quick level, and then the second thing of like the shoes having really good functionality over different kind of landscapes are the primary features. I myself haven't engineered the shoes, but they're a really interesting product. I don't think I've seen many things like it.
Right, so ShiftOS powers the mobility shoes. And what are the advantages of having the in-house developed software kind of do that for you guys? Like, what does it provide? And how does it enhance the overall experience?
Yeah, I think one of the things that was really interesting to me about the Moonwalkers is they were, CMU has a huge robotics kind of brand, right? They have the Robotics Institute. CMU students often are developing research and developing products in the robotic space. And so that's something that was really interesting to me about the company, is that it was kind of focused on work every day into making the shoes really strong. And I've been able to just interact with them on online. It's been really nice to meet them and just know how they work.
These Moonwalkers were named, quote, one of the best inventions of 2023 by Time and are the world's first robotic shoes. Since these shoes are easy for everyone to use, you can walk conventionally and let the AI adjust to your liking. From Pitt to the Point, I'm business and tech reporter Isabella Romeo. Grace, Michelle?
Thanks, Isabella. Record Store Day is coming up this weekend, and Jerry's Record Store here in Pittsburgh is getting ready. Want to learn more from our entertainment reporter, Jordan Sapp. Jordan?
Jerry's Records is a longtime staple for music lovers in Pittsburgh. The record store of all record stores, in my opinion. With so many options, there's something for everyone. They're celebrating this Record Store Day with a special event.
I'd say we are possibly the largest used-only record store, maybe in the country. I don't like to say that definitively. But we deal with a lot of volume as far as records and now CDs and cassettes and other formats as well. As far as the dollar sale, it's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 6, Sunday, 12 to 5, probably 25,000 at least LPs and CDs and It's just a great way to get your feet wet in records. We usually have the sale twice a year, pretty much always on Record Store Day in April, and then generally do another one sometime in the fall usually. Kind of as Jerry did the bargain basement, and I was a seedling for it in a sense, but that was like an ongoing dollar sale in a sense. He closed that a year or less before I took over. Then we needed a way to continue trying to get rid of volume, and so then we decided, well, instead of doing an ongoing thing, we'll just have this event a couple times a year. With the amount of volume we deal in, we acquire so much stuff that we just can't possibly A, fit it in the store, or B, some of it's just excess of the same record or whatever that we can't necessarily keep every copy up here. So we accrue all this stuff and then purge it, I mean, you can find, nice jazz stuff, rock stuff, all of that. Yeah, I mean, the thing I like to tell people about the store is whenever you come in, the stock is constantly changing. If you don't find something today, it might be here tomorrow. I think that's an important thing for people to know.
The Jerry's Record Store $1 sale starts today at 10 a.m. if you're eager to start looking. The price point makes it really accessible for a way to either start your collection or grow your collection. And with the eclectic nature of the sale, you never know what you'll find. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your entertainment reporter, Jordan Sapp. Back to Grace and Michelle.
Thanks, Jordan. We're taking a look at one of our regional campuses over in Bradford after their performance of their original theater piece. Reporter Anna Park got to speak with one of their professors of theater. Anna?
Hi, so at the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford, they performed an original piece called The Berlin Walls, and it was overseen by Dr. Kevin Ewart, a professor of theater at the university, and it was an original play written all by the students.
What is devised theater work? It really is kind of starting from scratch. We're starting from a group of people who have come together, all who have their own personalities. What we start with is something that I borrow from the great American theater director Anne Bogart. You have a question, you have an anchor, and you have a structure. First of all, how do we get to the Berlin Wall? Early on in the term, people were talking a lot about, why can't we get along? Why is there so much division? And the Berlin Wall came up as a way of exploring the notion of division. How can we tell stories that show the division, but then allow for the division to be permeated somehow? These are interesting times. A lot of my students are feeling kind of alienated and disaffected and kind of let down by larger structures and systems in this country that they're not super happy about. So part of the work of making something is, okay, what do we want to do? During COVID, that was a pretty existential threat to the live arts. That's done now, but what a lot of live arts across the country have found is that audiences haven't come back. But I'm hoping that all those students who created this thing have an increased sense of the urgent need to communicate, the urgent need to find places to put their strong feelings about the world and to make something positive out of it.
Two main productions are put on by the students, this year being Wolves and The Berlin Wall. You can find out more information on the Pitt Bradford Arts page. From Pitt to the Point, I'm regional campus reporter Anna Park. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks, Anna. When we come back, we'll be looking at what it takes to become a doctor after graduating Pitt.
And we'll be taking a trip to the Pitt Skywalk for our graduating seniors. Stay tuned.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge, as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Welcome back. Looking to dive deeper into stories that caught your attention today? Then look no further than our website. Visit pittothepoint.com for clips from today's show and in-depth articles covering the topics that pique your interest. And stay connected with us on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all under the handle Pitt to the Point.
Follow us for updates, behind-the-scenes footage, and more from our talented crew. Don't miss out. You have to join the conversation and stay informed with Pitt to the Point.
Being a pre-med student with plans of becoming a doctor is no easy feat. With more on the journey from graduation to earning that cover and doctor title, we will go to our medical reporter, Noah Dan. Noah?
Thanks, guys. As the school year comes to a close, it's time for students to start looking at what they want to do after school. And this is no different than medical students. This week, I had the opportunity to interview Pitt alum and current pediatric resident at UPMC Children's Hospital, Dr. Dakota Peterson, as we discussed what it takes to go through the schooling process and what it takes to become a doctor.
You go through 4 years of undergrad degree. You can really major in anything that you want to, but there is a set of required classes, mainly in the sciences, that you have to get done. And then after medical school, you can sit for, or after you're done with the required classes, you can sit for the MCAT, which is a standardized test similar to the SATs, but for medicine. And after that, you can apply to medical school. You get accepted into medical school. It's a 4-year program. First 2 years are mainly book studying, so really learning the nitty gritty on the subjects. And then the second 2 years are mostly clinical, so really working with patients and taking what you learned in the books in the prior 2 years and applying that to patients. And then after that, you know, during medical school, you do take 2 additional step boards. But then after you complete medical school, then you get to move on to residency. We say match day is such an interesting process. If anyone was in Greek life, it's similar to that day where you kind of find out what sorority or fraternity you're going to be in, except a little bit more intense, because you find out where you're going to live for the next few years and where you're going to kind of make your next moves. Then on this fateful day in the beginning of March, on a Friday at noon, every resident in the country figures out where they are going to be spending the next few days. It is exciting. It gives me chills just thinking about it, because
Dr. Peterson went on to tell me about, even though there's all the hardships that it takes to become a doctor, the success that you have makes it one of the most rewarding fields in the world. And she told me she's very happy to be back in the great city of Pittsburgh. For Pitt to the Point, I'm medical reporter Noah Dan. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks, Noah. Each week, we take a look at one of our Pitt alums and what they're up to after graduation. This week, Jamie Allen tells us all about his past work as the Director of Engineering for Starbucks.
My name is Jamie Allen. I am a graduate of the Information Studies program. At the time, I was a member of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity. I was in the rugby team. I had always been interested in building things. And I'd had an Apple computer whenever I was 13 years old, living in Singapore. You learn so much about like how computers work and how software works. And Starbucks had this really great idea. They had a rewards program, but their problem was it broke all the time. and they couldn't change it because it was based on a package that they bought from another company. So they decided to completely rebuild it. Starbucks was going to go from being a coffee company to being a technology company. I ended up turning it around and driving the program to success, delivering something that's changed the way, digital experiences happen in rewards programs and the way you do mobile order and pay. I went to Facebook after Starbucks. A whole discipline started to be created out of Google called Site Reliability Engineering, SRE. I was one of the leaders of Site Reliability Engineering for the way that we, run our applications, whether you're talking Instagram or WhatsApp or the website, you name it, across millions of hosts. Don't worry if you don't become a huge, success right out of college. As long as you work hard in your job, but also think about things like open source and how you might be able to contribute in whatever way, shape, and form to a major project, you will find opportunities coming to you.
This week, our Pitt seniors got the chance to leave their mark on the skywalk here at Pitt. With more, we turn to our Pitt beat reporter, Natalie Silberman. Natalie?
This past Tuesday and Wednesday, graduating students got the chance to leave their final mark on campus through the Hands of Time exhibit.
It's just a great way for seniors to leave their mark on the university. They're able to come up and paint their hand and just decorate the sky bridge.
It's a great way to take a break from your last week of classes and get a moment to kind of recognize that maybe the last time you're going to walk through here as a student.
We're both in Blue and Gold Society, so we've been able to help out with a lot of traditions like Lantern Night, Homecoming. So many different things have brought alumni and students together from all different areas in the university. So that's been a great thing to be a part of.
I had no idea this was a thing. I think it's really cool because you get to, leave your mark on this place that you spent 4 years going to, and especially this place. I remember going through this walkway so many times, and I never knew what any of this was. Knowing that and being a senior and being able to leave my mark is really cool, and have, freshmen next year, maybe walk through here not really knowing what this is, and then once they become seniors, being able to also participate.
Yeah, I think it'll be so fun to show our families too during graduation weekend and be like, oh, I did that, that's my hand.
There's such a fun way for my friends and I to just come and have a little moment for ourselves as we're graduating to celebrate our time at Pitt together.
I love Pitt so much. I feel well, of course we love Kathy, but also just all the friends I've met. It's so amazing. I have friends all over campus with all the fun activities that I do.
Such a big campus, it's really nice to have a space just for seniors to be recognized, especially with something as small as just the little handprint. It's so cool to see everyone as they walk by in such a busy place. Everyone's going to see your mark left on the university.
As you can see, the David Lawrence Sky Bridge is chock full of handprints of graduating seniors giving their final Hail to Pitt. With Pitt to the Point, I've been your Pitt beat reporter, Natalie Silberman. Grace, Michelle, back to you guys in the studio.
Don't forget, Pitt to the Point airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the University of Pittsburgh website, as well as Pitt to the Point website.
And in case you missed us Friday morning, you can also watch a rerun of the show on Saturday morning at 10:30 on CBSN, KDKA's streaming platform. Make sure you tune in. Well, Michelle, it looks like we've hit the end of our last show as anchors. I really can't believe how fast the semester has flown by.
Wow, Grace, I know. It really feels like yesterday we were in our first couple of weeks of the semester, and I was producing the Pitt Sports segment, and you were running the teleprompter.
I really am so proud of how our season has gone here at Pitt to the Point, and I'm very excited to be back next season. But it's kind of crazy to think you're going to have graduated by this time next year.
I know. After 2 years of Pitt to the Point, it's definitely sad knowing that I won't be back next season. Don't worry, I'll be around. This won't be the last you'll see of me. Be sure to tune in next Friday for our final show of the season, our graduation show, where we recap our incredible season of Pitt to the Point.
We want to give a huge thank you to our crew behind the scenes. This show really would not be possible without them. Well, Michelle, unfortunately, we've covered just about everything, and this is a sad goodbye. From Pitt to the Point, I'm Grace Lamberto.
And I'm Michelle Spiller.
Until next season.